Very, very quickly to comment on mixing languages. Recently, I saw that someone was editing an interview I did with an Egyptian. كاتب أسعد أبو جابر. يعني أسعد وAWS 3A. And it returned back, and the 3 was removed. It was completely misunderstood. They basically thought, this is a grand name, and they basically thought this was a typo. And I had to explain why this was included. And she suggested an alternative, use the open single quotes for the ain like Christmas does, etc., etc., etc. Eventually, we kept it to the norm and explaining that the 3 is which is a character sound, not videos, etc., etc.
The final one.
So it might develop later in the transliteration system.
It may. For now, Arabic is what we use on Facebook and Twitter, among other Egyptians.
Because it's based on incomprehensibility. If it doesn't communicate to others, then it's...
The other thing about mixing languages, you have to be aware of your audience. If you're sure your audience is Arabic, include Arabic. If you're not sure, sometimes it's a plus that you give the original language. Sometimes it's a minus because you know that the leadership will probably not understand Arabic. Also, Arabic tech. In a case like what Dr. Randa is saying, this is totally, no matter how good the translation is, it will not be like the original. So it's important to improve the original. You think, what kind of reader would read this? Is it someone who's probably familiar with Egyptian colloquial poetry? In that case, I include.
That is the problem of the word limit. The problem of the word limit.
Number of words.
Well, for example, I'm quoting Arabic text and تسجيلي هنا أنا هينقص قد كده بقى.
If you're writing for a journal, عادة حتى the word count المحدود he allows ممكن they allow for exceptions. If you publish a paper that includes images and the limit is 15 pages, the 15 pages of text, so you negotiate. And you can write and say that the nature of this specific text requires شوية flexibility. After if I put the quotations double, then I'll need more for the argument. You play it on a case-by-case situation.
I also want to add that sometimes you don't know your audience, you don't know what your audience would like, because if you're writing a proposal, you know that your professors here will read it. If you're writing a thesis, well, I don't know, maybe this will be published, maybe it will be digitally put on the net for others to see. If I'm writing for an international journal, anybody can read my work. Someone who knows Arabic, someone who doesn't know Arabic, someone who is from India, and it's better to keep in mind that the audience is actually undecided. You know your audience very rarely. Otherwise, the audience is.
Sorry for that question, but what if the bibliography, after submitting the proposal, I want to add that this is a problem because
To add what?
more books.
Up to your bibliography, after submitting the proposal.
Yes.
That's the natural.
It's not a problem.
Yeah,
Because they put a minimum of number of books, minimum
in your proposal, but in your thesis.
the proposal. A minimum of.
Yes, the minimum of, I think, to make sure that the student is read enough adequately. Don't choose 3 sources or 4 sources. Maybe that's why they put the minimum. But once you have written, compiled your bibliography, submitted it, and you want to add to this, it's perfectly no problem. Any other stuff? We move now to the last one, and then if we have time, then there will be more questions. Now to the general considerations about research and proposal in general, the 2 processes, and we have specific divided into communal, academic, emotional, okay. What do we mean? I did not find an adequate word to describe the communal, so I said communal. That might not be the best way to describe that. By this type of considerations, I was actually what I had in mind is the community of researchers around the research community. This is an important consideration for my research and for my proposal and for the process of doing research, for the process of writing the proposal. What does a community of researchers do? What can it do for me as a researcher? Maybe with ideas, yes.
Okay, it's very, it's an important point, actually, this research community around me. Fortunately, I consider that we have like a treasure here in the English department of professors and people who can help us. And unfortunately, we never make use of that. I don't know how this can be. I was just talking to Mariam about this, and they raised this point before many times. Why don't we meet on like, I don't want to say like friendly basis, but unlike and
Informal gathering.
yeah, and the researchers, the older researchers can help the younger researchers. Yeah, I have that book. I have just like Dr. Walid was saying about Dr. So that's what I was talking about. We don't talk, we don't share. Sometimes we are a little bit reluctant to ask because there's not enough communication. And the thing that you both pointed out yesterday, the sensitivity between advisors and I don't know how we can resolve that. I think it's a cultural issue. I don't know. Because I believe that if we sort that out, it would be brilliant. It would help us a great deal. Yeah, that's the only way of saying it.
This way.
Personally, I want that.
This one, this is, I think, just in a covered areas. I think it's fundamental, because this is the basis of this. So we will discuss it, not just taking down notes and then.
It's something else, just because everybody works on their pieces. Not that they have to write it. Like nobody talks about their work unless it's after a while, like someone talks go back.
Okay. Don't share.
Because we have this notion of they can see your work, your idea, keep your idea from the
They are
But there has to be, and I'm understanding what you are saying, of course, there has to be a sort of privacy. I mean, everyone deserves a little bit of privacy.
Yes, of the researchers can recognize it.
Other comments, other considerations, something from your experience that
Quite far from any researchers or anything. I'm not like working on anything. Working on advising, that's what
you're working on what?
in advising, so like twice.
What's your practical?
Yes. So all the community writing like has nothing to do with the literature or reading that whatsoever.
Your practical.
So yeah.
How come you?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, other than the part, other than my friends in the issue here, I don't encounter any, so, yeah, it affects me, because sometimes I feel like, when someone does something, for example, they be like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why have so much fun other than reading and drawing and stuff, so, yeah, it affects me.
Construction.
Yes, it affects me, definitely. Thing is, sometimes I try to twist situations to let my background interfere. Like for example, like I have some presentations at work, and it's all advertising, and I quote from some poetry and novels, and I explain, and they're like, wow, do they really do this?
Even those who graduate from the department or work in a different field, like that still relate to what you said, but you are this kind of environment.
Yeah.
And apparently we are missing it here as well. Our research is very yeah.
Well, I don't know what is the nature of these comments, but we have a comment, another comment. We don't have academic societies in our department. For example, I wish we had an academic society for poetry, an academic society for construction. Some people for example, they can meet in the summer and read the construction, read the demand. Because in reality, there is no one who would be interested in reading construction, for example. And we don't meet our professors on a regular basis to discuss these academic issues. Plus, we might meet them. This is the reversion of what she has suggested. She has suggested something on a friendly basis. I'm suggesting something on an academic basis. And generally, out of the scope of research and proposal, etc. Academic discussions. We don't have academic discussions in
academic basis, we need some stamps and some routine.
Yeah.
We need a journal. I wish we had a journal for juniors only. Because you have kind of studies for professors and seniors.
You are the juniors. You
I wish we have an authorized journal for us only.
That's an excellent idea. It's an excellent idea. And usually there are also conferences. Sometimes I get announcements about like the Yale undergraduate conference for March meeting. Undergraduates عاملين conference.
Actually, there are now conferences in the USA which accept proposals from juniors and graduates. You don't have to be junior and staff members.
In thesis proposals?
Yeah, and proposals, etc. Proposals, not cases. But we don't have such a thing.
Okay. Other comments? So how can we overcome this? Like we have now something about if you don't have regular meetings, whether official, non-official, or official, that even less than a meeting at that level, less than a meeting, which is personal interaction, there is some kind of problem with stealing the topic, or I don't want to talk to you about my topic, or affecting the hazard, or whatever it is. And then there is the idea of a research group, a group that is working on a specific like a book club مثلا هنقرا الكتاب ده بعدين ده وبعدين هنتناقش فيه بعد اسبوع او regular lectures by professors from here, even graduate students who are older, more experienced graduate students giving us presentations. في حاجه اسمها work in progress. Okay, when I was working in Germany, I was working in a research institute. كان عندنا كل اسبوعين session اسمها work in progress. كل حد من افراد الانستيتيوت بيقول لنا وصل لغايه فين في الريسيرش بتاعه. واحنا نقول له شويه تعليقات.
I want to respond to what Nariman and Zoran said about the culture, and about I actually had this precisely in mind, that when you go to another environment, another academic environment, somewhere else in the world, there's always constantly done work in progress. Now what Nariman said is about senior professors sharing their experience. I think what's more important is for junior scholars presenting their work. And this is really, in the last department meeting, Dr. Mansa suggested that before finalizing a proposal that comes in for a seminar, people should just present it to other colleagues and hear ideas and get feedback. And I think this is something that you should push for as juniors, that you should have a series of works in progress, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever, twice a semester, so much time to talk about the project that you're working on. It's beneficial for the community because they learn, and it's definitely beneficial for you. I mean, when people go for a scholarship, they're required to do it on a regular basis just to prove that there is progress. You don't only do your work in progress, you do your work in progress as it progresses. Like every 3 weeks, so you accomplish something and you're telling people what you've accomplished. It pushes you constantly. And the other thing about not sharing and about day hours like that, etc., etc. I think that has to do with, I mean, I was talking about this precisely with a colleague who just wanted to teach peace. And she was saying that AUC is so open, people share their material, etc., etc. We don't do this except very exceptionally at Academy. I think it has to do with the scarcity of resources. We talk about resources later. Like you feel that you've worked so hard to accomplish this work that you sometimes pay money to get books, that you sometimes have to go to I don't know which library, and you feel so protective of your work, you don't want anyone to see those ideas. I mean, I think this is a culture that has changed. And again, it's for you as juniors to push for that change. Now, our biggest fear is that I'll present an idea to someone and they will steal it and they will do research. Now, ideas don't belong to anyone.
Yeah,
So that's one thing.
Let them steal it.
And Randa and I can work on the same text and produce very different work. You have to have confidence level in your work, in your ability to produce, in your ability to contribute. Now, the other thing is, if you do this publicly, you're preempting that possibility of someone stealing. And of course, some sick-minded psycho may come to a public lecture, hear the idea, go present it somewhere else, or it's not really yours. I mean, texts don't belong to anyone, methodologies don't belong to anyone, and what I do will always be mine, because it emanated from here, and my research, not anybody else's. But again, the more you make it known to people that you're working on this, the less you make it possible for someone else to work on. I mean, مش إنه monopoly بس قصدي إنه someone actually steal my idea. But I think you should push for this. This is how people come up with ideas. No one comes up with a research idea in their room, no matter how many books they read, no matter how many people you talk to your advisor, etc., etc. Our circles are limited and we need to widen.
I want to pick up on this research culture. I'm stopping now, but I think it has to do with the research culture. The research culture is we read and we talk about different things. We don't talk about research. We talk about politics, we talk about fashion, we talk about whatever important stuff. But we don't talk about our work because the research culture is not well developed. So we might want to start doing that. This is something that will take time. But in the meantime, even with your friend, your close friend, even if you don't have this kind of large research culture, but you have 2 or 3 friends that you trust, that you can, like for example, it's important to proofread each other's work. I have written my proposal, so I'm giving it to Mariam. I want Mariam to read it and just proofread it, like I have misspelled something or, and then give me some feedback, whatever feedback حاولنا نفس المستوى ما حدش أشطر من حد ولا حد أقدم من حد بس we will give each other. So maybe learn how to share your work with those friends, with those circles, okay? Proofreading, brainstorming, like I have a problem with this concept of the كذا كذا بقول لواحد صاحبي طب يلا نقرا شويه عنه ونيجي نقعد نتكلم. This is a way of developing my understanding of something. حضور محاضرات whenever I hear about a conference, a topic, يعني this is a humanism, humanism it builds things حتى لو المؤتمر نص يعني أنا بروح وبسمع حاجة بتبني. So دي حاجة برضه أعتقد شغلنا بنعملها وشغلنا بنعملها بحماس قوي. يعني في كونفرنس بتبقى في كليات حوالينا وكده وبعدين بالكاست بس لا حضور رسائل مناقشة رسائل كفاية سواء رسالة حلوة أو وحشة. يعني أنا عارف من الأول مثلا إن ده طالب عامل حاجة لازم برضه
basically I want to talk to you about library resources and research resources, which are a problem for a lot of us. Before, I mean, on a relevant point, something that came up in the earlier discussion, we were talking about the bibliography and the minimum number of words. A minimum number is required basically just to prove that you have done enough reading. But also, it's very important, once you remember that, to have variety of sources in the bibliography. You cannot write anything just based on books. You have to have journal articles. You have to have book chapters, which you have to have in articles. Now, what's interesting about a journal article is usually it's more up to date. You know, it's recent. It tackles a specific point. It's about this specific novel. You know, I mean, it gives you updated material. Now, we all know that we should use the library sources and the research sources around us. Often we don't know where they are. And in a place like ours, I mean, we all have a problem. We have a limited library. The library is a little out, I mean, not very up to date. And there's so many considerations. There's space consideration, there's money, financial resources that we don't have. The university is working very much on yoga, accreditation, etc. However, I mean, a lot of the money that goes into paper printed should go into getting books for research, right? Now, in light of this, we also have to work realistically. This is the library that we have. Should I trash it altogether? I mean, there are some good works that will be still there. Now, people around me travel all the time. They get books all the time. Do not feel shy about asking someone if they have a book and if they can lend it. A lot of our colleagues work in other study in other institutions like AUC Library. Now, AUC Library is not fantastic. I mean, it's good for an MA student, but it cannot sustain a PhD student, which is why basically AUC does not offer a PhD program. You know, I mean, they're a little bit more aware of the importance of research materials, so they cannot have a PhD because you don't have a library to support, among others. But a lot of our colleagues study at AUC. Again, don't shy away from asking. I mean, they can help with this, you can help with something else. One of the biggest resources we have, a lot of us don't know about it, is the Maktaba Markaziyya, which is on campus, which has access to JSTOR, and I mean, JSTOR is a fantastic resource. JSTOR here at Cairo University. JSTOR, basically JSTOR.org, JSTOR.org, is the journal storage website. It's a huge site in the US. There are other like Project News, like EBSCO, like a lot of other search engines. What is good about JSTOR and similar is it provides full text access to periodical articles. So you find certain periodical available entirely from issue, say, 1 to whatever issue is published, or from the year 2000 until now. You can access the article itself, you can download it as a PDF, you can take it and go home. All of this you can do from the central library.
There's remote login. Remote login from home.
No. 45 pounds for 6 months.
Say if the internet gets to error.
Do we now?
We don't have to.
See, that's the thing. I mean, sometimes because information doesn't get publicized, I mean, the problem with structure like ours, high university, is that sometimes certain things are agreed but they're not publicized. I don't know who the other day was saying, never mind, it's an irrelevant point, but I mean, there's important information that you don't know because the system does not publicize that information. Part of your responsibility to yourself is to find out what is available, to go a place like the central library. Now, another resource is the internet. I keep saying this, we are prehistoric. At our time, I mean, we didn't know the internet, we didn't have that as a resource. Life has changed. Now you can read entire books on Google Books. Sometimes you don't have access to the entire book, but you can read a chapter and you can take notes. I mean, it doesn't allow you to copy, of course, because there is copyrights and there is commercial aspects involved, etc. But you have read it. Now, have read it is good because A, you can do it the hard way and sit down and copy parts, or you at least identify that this is a book I can use. Because sometimes you look at titles and they look great, but you read them, they're completely irrelevant to you. I mean, I had to go through this a million times. I remember before defending my thesis, like 6 weeks before defending my thesis, I had finished everything, and then suddenly there was this book that, I mean, you get those last minute misgivings. Like, someone has done this work and tell us my work is not important or scholarly or academic or irrelevant in any way. I insisted on getting the book. It was just irrelevant, but it's part of your responsibility to yourself, because someone at one point, a student or an examiner, will ask you a question, and you, I mean, come on, nobody knows everything. I'm not focused here about everything, and but it's good to be informed. If I'm specializing in this kind of work, I should be informed. I should know about it. I should be around. Now, the other thing is, we spoke about this earlier on, Wikipedia is a huge no. It excludes your work, I mean the academicness of your work up front. And when you write to an international journal and you use Wikipedia, it doesn't even go for free. Because that, Wikipedia is for general knowledge about things you can't find weather about. Or suddenly أنا سمعت حاجة ما أعرفش في القطب الشمالي إيه بيحصل إيه. So I want to just get quick information. I do that. Now the last thing is when you look at the internet, the more you look at websites, the more you develop an assessment sort of criteria for what is dependable, what is reliable, what I can use and what I cannot use. I'm sure a lot of you know this, that people know the same. The final extension of a website is often an indication. COM is for commercial. Now, you may find something interesting on a commercial site. In the back of your mind, you should be aware this is for profit. This is a website that is geared toward profit. And it's not that you should look at it dubiously or skeptically, but also be aware that it may not necessarily be giving what it promises to give. The GOV is usually a governmental site, and these are great for statistics, for information related to, basic, the economy, census counts, statistics related to literacy and literacy rates, etc. Gov.com.net. .net could be anything. It's a network, but now here I have to assess the network myself. What kind of network is it? Is it a network of scholars? visit the network of, what is it? And of course, the safest, but again, I don't use it 100% blindly is .edu, because that's an extension that is not allowed to anything except an institution that is affiliated to a university. Or even here, we were struggling very much to have you remember our emails were edcu@info. And it looks much better when you do professional correspondence to be affiliated with a website that's .edu. They have an equivalent. .co.uk is .com في الأمريكان. .ac.uk is academic.uk. So it is the equivalent of the EU. So if it's AC in an English website, if it's EDU in an American website, that means at least there's a bare minimum of trust in the source. Because that's, come on, we should trust academia 100%. We all know in this department, in anywhere, we can verify this from our personal experience. Not everybody is equally professional as everybody else. So because someone put it on the website, some professor in America does not I have to look at what sources they use. I have to look at the bibliography they provide. I have to look at what material they use. But these are just general resource-related considerations. I looked at the website of the Central Library, Cairo University, and I'll just give it to you in case you will need it as you do research. It's on www.cl for Central Library .cu Cairo University .edu .eg. So it's cl.cu.edu.eg. Take a visit, see what they have. I think you should also go there and inquire about what you can do. And remember, the library is not the end of the road. Now Mariam is telling us, is giving us news that we have access to JSTOR here. We didn't have JSTOR. Someone fought for it. So if you go to the library and find something worth fighting for, you have a representative, and if you work in the department, or even if you don't know, talk to Mariam and talk to Abou Bakr. They can suggest in the department meeting that we have a deal with the library and have access to something we don't have access to. Yes.
JSTOR.org. It's the organization.
It is an organization.
But I don't have to trust it. JSTOR is trustworthy.
Well, JSTOR, it's very trustworthy because it gets its information from MLA. They go to the Modern Language Association اللي هي كده زي المجمع اللغة العربية بالنسبة للغة العربية زي الأكاديمية فرانسيس بالنسبة للpeople who work in French. They go to MLA and they ask them for suggestions of periodicals to improve. Already the periodicals in Mahbuba was approved by the MLA. The other thing is the biggest reason why it's trustworthy is because it's academic journal. The content is nothing but journals.
It's published already. It's not like someone.
They are already published. They are all available in print form. They are there. They are the same journals اللي احنا بنخلي حتى بيسافر يصور لنا منهم chapter. Except they are available in their entirety on the internet. Not all journals, and it's very competitive, and not any journal can be available on this. But Project News does something like that. We're not. I think it's smaller scale. And something else I can't. Is it Project Gutenberg?
But he was he takes but it's not right.
أساسا الشاشة في مصر زي project new كان داونلود بس هو في مصر مش شغال عشان يكوبي
informed. And keep yourself informed of different this.
Actually, I have some suggestions regarding the system. I have some inquiries, some problems. المفروض ان وفقا للريموت لوجن ده احنا متفقين ان احنا نعمل اسمها دوكيمنت ديليفري، ان احنا نطلب دوكيمنت ان هم يجيبوها لنا يظهرها. لسبب ايه؟ لان المفروض اساسا كل حد بيخش يبقى ليه يوزر نيم وباسورد ممكن عن طريق يشتري من الموقع نفسه. الكلام ده مش بيديهولنا اساسا. فكره ان يبقى لنا يوزر نيم وباسورد ممكن اشتري كريدت كارد ده مش متاح. غير عن طريق بس على الثقافه اللي موضوع الدوكيمنت ديليفري. ده دي حاجه يعني مش عارف ممكن نحارب عشانها ازاي. دي تفرق جامد.
When you talk about document delivery, this is something مثلا available at ACS .tel, and what they do is the system is American. اللي هو in the library loan. Through your library, you can identify مثلا a chapter in a book or a journal article, and because that journal is not subscribed to by your library, you order it. Is that what you're talking
This
about?
happens احنا اصلا مشتركين في بعض الحاجات، هو حد قال لنا في بعض السنين في الستور وفي بعض السنين في ستيج، مش في كل حاجه.
Okay. My question is, can you do it from the library?
لا ما ساعه بس الدور الثالث، ما ساعه قصدي الجامعات اللي هو موجوده جنب الاوضه.
Can you do it there? And if you're physically in Max Al-Kanai, can you ask for document delivery? Or how does it get delivered?
عن طريقهم بيبعتوا على الميل، بس هو كان قال لنا انه بيبعتوا يعني بيقسموا 50% منها كمدعوم للجامعه و 30% حاجه كده هندفع الباقي.
So there's money involved?
لا سوفت كوبي.
Usually they send to
طبعا لازم، بس هي الفكره ان احنا اساسا المفروض اساسا يبقى لنا الحق ان احنا نلاقي يوزر نيم وباسورد جوه عن طريق الجامعه تديه لنا لكل حد مشترك بحيث ان هو يشتري على كريدت كارد، ده مش موجود مش عارف ليه.
Okay, that's my question is, you can do it physically there, but you can't do it with remote access. مش كده؟ So just have to manage the document people. يعني, if it's something that can be done, and what we need is someone's signature to allow it remotely, طبعا في حاجات ما بيبقاش فيها signature. يعني بيقول لك لا اصل هو القانون بيعمل. بس في حاجات ممكن لو الواحد خانق فيها بياخدها.
Okay, this number 2 في موضوع يعني اقتراح الثيسز الام ثيسز والبي اتش ثيسز موجوده في المكتبه المركزيه الجديده في الدور الاول او الثاني، هم عندهم داتا بيز رهيبه، يعني في منها حاجات عندها قسم كتير جدا من كل الاقسام، حاجات منها مفيده جدا. وليها كمان سيرش انجن لوحدها جوه المكتبه. يعني المكتبه عندها قسم انا دورت فيها ما له علاقه بيها، مفيش غير 4 كتب على الثيري وشويه كتب عن الانجلستكس يعدوا على اصابع، لكن الفكره كلها في اللي هي داتا بيس بتاعت كل الاكاديميك ريسيرش اللي هم عملنا اندكسنج وفي منها برنتد كوبيز. المشكله بس اللي هناك ان في التصوير احنا ممكن نصور كميات بس هم عندهم دايما بيقعدوا لمده اسبوع.
سؤال، هم بس موجودين ان برنت ولا موجودين سوفت كوبي؟
لا ان برنت. السوفت كوبي مش كله، فيه مشروع لسه شغال.
I remember when I defended, I was asked to give a hard and a soft copy of the library.
موجود بس مش عارف يعني هو كان ممكن يكون موجود اكيد اتقدم بس اللي قبل كده لسه هتعمل ديجيتايزنج يعني.
طيب when you access the website,
لا مش على الويب سايت خالص.
you see it, you have to do it there.
بس طبعا في السايت برو كويست اللي علاقه بجامعات امريكا والحاجات اللي بتقدمها الجامعه لمصر، بس طبعا اللي بتقدمها هنا او اللي بيقدمها حد قليله جدا. يعني جامعه القاهره كلها مش 4 5 6 رسائل على البرو كويست. بس اي بروفيسور او اسوشيت بروفيسور او اي حد خد البي اتش دي الام اي بتاعته من بره ممكن نلاقيها على البرو كويست. يعني لقيت الثيسيس بتاعت البروجكت تاني موجوده عشان مش عارف عملها جامعه ايه، ومية ابو بكر عشان جامعه كاليفورنيا يونيفرستي فهم اللي ناشرينها. فاي دكتور من عندنا عملها بره جورج تاون لو لينجويستكس هيلاقيها على البرو كويست غالبا بنسبه 70-90% يعني. بتكلم عامة أي حاجة لينا خاصة بأي بروفيسور احنا عملناها بره ممكن نعمل بروفيسور. بالنسبة للحاجات بتاعتنا الديجيتايز نزل موجود، بس العمل في المكتبة ونزل بره يعني. بس
I also want to point out this flexibility and because if you are encountering problems with the central library, or I don't know if they require money to download something, I think from the Flexibility Alliance you set up an account where you can access remote. You can
Something different?
Do you know what JSTOR plans
You
are?
have something different you mean, doctor?
They have the news, project news, and something else.
This is different from what we have.
Here,
This is something different. يعني we have JSTOR وديسكو وإيميلت وسيج ده تبع مركز الحساب العلمي اللي هو له علاقة بالسنترال لايف اللي بيعمل سبسكريبشن في مركز الحساب
هو
العلمي.
مركز الحساب العلمي.
مفيش بروجكت نيوز للأسف.
في هم عندهم JSTOR مش project.
في سيج وإيميلت وجيستو وديسكو وإيريك.
Yeah, you can access from home. You can access from home. The workshop and what the schools are probably not used. Yeah, I was sure that you have to try and separate that. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but I think it works. It just needs persistence.
The point that we might need the department council intervention ان احنا من حقنا نقترح داتابيز تتحط مع الحاجات دي بس احنا ما بنقترحش، يعني من حقنا قانونا نقترح ونفسي نقترح بروجكت نيوز يتحط والاوكسفورد جورنالز. انا اقترحت لهم عن طريق زي ما هو قال سنة اقترحت لهم 10 دعايات وبيردوا عليهم بعد شهر، يعني مره بس ضاعت رد على الشهر اللي بعده. رحت جبتها في النص. ثم قال لي هو بعد ما جبتها
بيجيب التواصل ويقدر لما يتصل بالديبارتمنت ممكن يخش الديبارتمنت بس في طريقه ان احنا ناخد البروجكت ميل بس في طريقه الفاصل دول نخش الميل بس فيها ادجستمنت كده للاي بي ادرس.
لا برضه السنتر لاين
لا
شغال المعيدين عندنا ليهم بس ممكن نعمل سيتنجز معينه في الاي بي ادرس كده.
But you have different databases? I'm sorry.
Yes, I think if they are the methods, then it's easier. I mean, if it's available, but this is the process. It's available. And also, Daya said something yesterday about the database at the Women in Memory Forum. So I think this is also something because as far as I understand from it's a new database. And it has the PCs in different Egyptian universities digitalized and different systems. So you cannot access from home, right? You can access from home. Okay.
What is it? So WMF.org.
You say the site again?
What's the subscription?
WMF.
For Women in Memory Forum.
انتوا مجرد لو دخلتوا حتى على السايت لو كتبتوا وين الميموري ودخلتوا على السايت هتلاقوا اللينك
It's here. It's exactly as you said.
I use the concept is very useful. So, according to Dalia, yes.
Okay, now one last thing, and we will have a longer discussion at the end if we have time. But very briefly, and we're now talking about free resources and resources related to articles. But there are other things like Questia is books. It's with a subscription. It's profit geared. But again, I mean, if that's the options that I have, I'll do it. One website that is copyright problematic is Script. Of course, you can download books with a clear conscience. I tell you go away. Script, you're aware of it.
Yeah.
C-R-I.
Why?
Because it's pirated books.
I don't use it.
Now, I'm telling you about it, but I think you shouldn't use it. S-C-R-I-B-D.
But concerning Bible, you can download the entire Cambridge Companion collection.
Well, that's,
I did so.
I mean, different people think about this.
How
I mean,
big are they?
piracy is one of those issues. Actually, a lot of people think if I'm using it for academic purposes, it's okay. But others think it's bad because it's someone else's work.
They are going to make profit, but the disease is
Yeah, because I'm using it for my research.
There's